Hi, I'm Leon Lovelace, and this is Unstoppable Force. Now, I need your help. I need you to go to my PayPal link, and I'll put a link in the description box below. I'll put it right on here, too. So you could go there and donate to my channel so I can expand this channel. But I got a couple stories for you, and one is a really local. It's based on close to where I live, and because I live really close to Swansboro, North Carolina, and just a couple months ago, a Walmart opened. Now, of course, I've been watching and hearing news pundits and news show hosts talk about, especially independent news show hosts, like even Cenk Uygur, quite a few months ago, said, "Yeah, pay attention to local politics because you have more of a say because everything that happens locally is going to affect you in some way. So you really want to pay attention to that." And me being the asshole said, local politics is not as sexy as national politics, so I'm not going to pay attention. And what do you fucking know? Walmart opens up just a couple months ago in Swansboro. Now, normally I just look and try to participate in Jacksonville politics because that's a bigger city, or that's actually a city versus just a town of Swansboro. But it's really important because I'm not a fan of Walmart. A lot of you guys probably aren't fans of Walmart either. And I have actually, because I've pretty much boycotted Walmart for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. It's been a long time going. And you guys probably know the issues with Walmart is that they're the biggest retailer in the world, so they have the resources and the money and their profits to pay their lowest level employees living wage of $15 or $16 an hour to make sure they have just a really nice life. But since they don't do that, they pay them a little bit less. Then a lot of those people have to go and get food stamps. So in a way, the citizens of the U.S. are subsidizing Walmart's lowest level employees. And then Walmart's able to charge really low prices, so they actually can really just undercut any businesses that are trying to compete with them. So, and then a lot of those business owners and the other employees of the local businesses that actually make a good living wage, they lose their jobs, and then they have to work at Walmart or work at another company. And of course, a lot of those people are not always going to be able to get that high pay that they had before. So those are the reasons. Those are some of the reasons why I boycotted Walmart. Another reason is that quite back about 9-10 years ago, I started reading news articles and seeing news articles on, or seeing news videos about how Walmart's getting in some heat for underpaying their women. And back then, about 10-11 years ago, I was really broke, so I couldn't boycott them then. But when I had a few bucks, I was like, okay, since there's always these issues about them underpaying women, I was like, no, that's kind of fucked up, so I'm gonna quit shopping there. I'm pretty sure they still have issues with, they're still underpaying the women employees or the female employees compared to the male employees. And they're not supposed to be able to do that legally because women have protections to make sure they have equal pay, especially when they have the same position as a man. So that's problematic that a lot of these store managers aren't getting in deep shit for that. And then Swansboro is a small town, so I can understand that a lot of the people wanted or would think that Walmart's a good option for them because they could have used, or we could have used another store or two in Swansboro. But if I was actually paying attention and started going to like the town hall meetings and going to town hall meetings, I could have said, hey, let's not let Walmart come in and actually just try to see if we could get a clothing store, because there's not really a clothing store in Swansboro, say. So instead of a Walmart, let's just have a clothing store and an electronics store. because those are like the major stores that the people around here would need in Swansboro, so they didn't have to drive as far to get to Jacksonville or to Morehead City. Because some of the other stuff that Walmart sells, because it's not a super Walmart, so they don't have the grocery side, because there's 2 grocery stores in Swansboro, so that's not needed at all. But like the paint section, we do have a paint store. I think it's like a locally owned paint store, so we have that. We have a small hardware store, so we don't really need the hardware part of Walmart. So I think the biggest thing was just clothes and electronics. But since I wasn't paying attention, I couldn't add more pressure to say, hey, let's actually do something that's going to help the people out by not letting Walmart in. But okay, so that's the bad news that came out, and I also have some good news. This isn't quite as localized, but it may be, but maybe it's more impactful for the people because, well, in North Carolina. Because what happened a short while ago is that, the Green Party is now North Carolina's newest official political party. I got this from the newsandobserver.com. Yep, so of course the Republicans, the Democrats, and the Libertarians, they've also been recognized by the state for quite a while. I don't like how this is phrased, because it kind of shows that they're neoliberals that are writing and editing this paper, or this online version of the paper, because they talk about the party promotes environmentalism and it's left of center. And the Green Party is not really left of center, they're just a left-wing party. North Carolina Party co-chairman Anthony Ned said the party also stands for a living wage, ensuring every worker in North Carolina will make at least $15 an hour, universal health care, free public higher education. Okay, then it talks about how voters can now register as a Green Party member, or they could just hit other and then write in green. Okay, so the party will have candidates in the November ballot who will be chosen at a convention. Ned said the party is looking to run a few candidates in state legislative and congressional races. So hopefully we have a few, and I'll be looking forward to vote for some Green Party candidates. Of course, they better be really progressive, so we actually get some positive change and some representatives that work for the people. And how this came about was, this is a little surprising, but it's actually very important that they did this. Because what they did was they changed the state laws to lower the threshold for new parties to get on the ballot, which is really good and really important, that the 2 entrenched parties aren't trying to unethically and in a way try to just block other political parties from entering the fold. Because it says that the state legislature last year revised standards so it's easier for parties to get on the ballot. Under the law, any party that appeared on ballots in at least 70% of the states in the last presidential election could apply for recognition. Jill Stein, the Green Party's 2016 presidential candidate, was on ballots in 38 states. I'm also going to grab this from Star News Online, because they have a little bit more information on this, because they talk about how says the Green Party and other smaller parties have had a steep mountain to climb to get official recognition, because under the state's old law they had to collect more than 90,000 signatures from registered voters. Even if successful, the collection process had to be repeated if the party's candidate for president and governor failed to receive 2% of the vote in North Carolina. Only the state Libertarian Party, now with 35,000 registered voters, has overcome these obstacles dating back to the 1990s. Then the GOP-controlled legislature last fall approved a law that dramatically reduced the signatures required to about 12,000 registered voters and created a new qualification route. And the new qualification route was if a candidate was on 70% of the states. Until Tuesday, Green Party candidates could only run as independent or write-in candidates, each with their own signature mandates. Now that's changed. So this is really good news because hopefully this allows the Green Party to really run a lot more candidates in the state and local legislature. So we get more, we actually get a shakeup from the two-party duopoly that's been pretty terrible for the people over the last, 40 plus years. And hopefully we can actually get some positive change and actually get some more policies that help the people, like a higher minimum wage, because North Carolina's minimum wage is just the same as the federal minimum wage at $7.25 an hour, and that's pretty damn trash. So, so if we get some more Green Party candidates, hopefully we can get that bumped up to $15 an hour pretty soon, and then get other policy changes that really help the people, like single payer healthcare, at least increasing funding for the healthcare system, so a lot of people are just paying less out of pocket. And we try to get rid of some of this. Then we could force some of the companies to quit polluting so much. Like we still have the Chemours polluting the water in Wilmington, and hopefully we could really start cracking down on these corporations and really fining them and actually throwing people in jail for this. Because some of this is just a mass public hazard with just polluting the rivers and polluting our air. So this is really harmful for the public as a whole. We really need to fight to get all this shit stopped.